I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, November the 18th, brought to you in part by Normycin by Norbrook. Normycin 300 LA is an economical 300 milligram oxytetracycline that delivers the same amount of antibiotic as the 200 milligram options in a lower dose. For more information, go to norbrook.com. Packers turn aggressive, and we saw them really dig in the Southern Plains, end up giving $2 more than last week by late in the day on Thursday. Is it because your Southern Plains feedlots were really digging in and being hard to trade with? I don't know that it is. We sold 4,200 or nearly 5,000 actually in Texas on Wednesday. Seemed like they were pretty much okay with the 150. It was almost like a token bid like we had back during the pandemic. But maybe your Packers were trying to satisfy their partners, their feedlot partners that they have with the sweetheart deals and the formula sales, trying to get that weighted average up a little bit. But not exactly sure. It probably had a lot to do with them wanting to buy more cattle. They didn't buy a lot of cattle in the Southern Plains last week and was able to secure significantly more cattle this week already, and there's going to be more cattle confirmed by the time we get the late Thursday sales and any trade that happens on Friday. But we had the Packers become aggressive. They ended up paying maybe $1 more in some cases in the Northern Plains, but for the most part we just narrowed the spread between the Northern Plains and the Southern Plains with that 152. There was a lot of cattle in the Northern Plains that brought 152, a lot more that brought 153, but on Thursday afternoon a lot more of them were bringing 154 and 155. We are expecting a bullish cattle on feed report here on Friday, 2 o'clock Central. You guys make sure you pay attention to that. Your November 1st inventories that the average of the analyst guests are expecting is 98.3% of a year ago. That would be the second cattle on feed report that's lower here of late. We had so many long spreads of having more cattle on feed than the year ago report, but now we're starting to get into lighter supplies, and so that 98.3 would be pretty bullish. I think we got an opportunity to have more, to have less than that even, so it could be even more bullish, which would really spur your cattle futures, I would assume. October placements expected to be 96.3. That seems pretty aggressive. Our auction receipts have still been fairly heavy because people have been moving cattle earlier. We've been talking about that, about how most of your big sales are expecting extremely lighter supplies of feeder cattle and calves selling, but they really haven't seen that as of yet because people are bringing cattle to town earlier. But your auction receipts through October, they were running about 3% less, so that would be 97% if there hadn't been that many cattle moving direct. Maybe we got an opportunity to get more bullish than that, below the 96.3, but that'll be interesting to see. Marketings are expected to be fairly aggressive at 101% of the same report last year. But let's talk about your board for Thursday. December live cattle futures were up 95 cents at 152.75. February up $1.15 at 155.40. Your back months on live cattle were up a dime to up in the mid range of the less than triple digits. November feeder cattle up 15 cents at 175.85. January up $2.50 at 179.90. Back months on feeder cattle were up big, up $1.32 to up 2 1/4. So that's a big gain on your feeder cattle and your out fronts there. Chicago Board of Trade futures, your corn was up again, but not much, 2 1/4 cent at 667.5. But your basis levels are a plus in every region, even up in the Corn Belt where we see a lot of corn harvested and they're about done with harvest. But you know, there's nowhere that you can really buy cash corn for less than $7 a bushel, but still your Chicago Board of Trade December corn futures are running well below that. Beans down 12.25 cents at $14.17 a bushel. Fat cattle trade fairly aggressive. We've established the market on Thursday afternoon. Going to be a lot more trade that happened after 2 o'clock on Thursday. I'm not sure we're going to get a heavy week because the numbers of market ready cattle are just really tight right now, and they've been really digging in the northern plains here of late. And not sure if those guys have any cattle on the show list. They're likely buying cattle a lot greener than what they would like. But Iowa had 4,600 head confirmed on Thursday, about 13,000 for the week, and that's well below normal. But live sales confirmed on Thursday at 152 to 156. We hadn't seen 156 at any level at all. Direct out of your 5-area feeding region. Dress sales from 240 to 244, and that 244 would be higher also. Nebraska, 4,200 head confirmed on Thursday, 18,400 head for the week. That's really light for them also. Live sales from 153 to 155. Dress sales at 242 only. Kansas, 7,500 head. That's a big movement for them. That would be a big movement for the week. We've got 10,200 head for the week already, and I think there's going to be significant sales that come in for late Thursday that will be reported on Friday and at the end of the week's roundup, and it'll be more than that. But 10,002 is not terrible for Kansas already. Live sales on Thursday from 151 to 152 and fairly evenly spread between 151 and 152. Texas, 3,900 head confirmed on Thursday, but already over 10,000 for the week, and we haven't been getting 10,000 for the week out of Texas, and I think there's going to be more than that come in by the end of the week. But live sales 148 just on some plainer cattle there, but all the way up to 152, and a lot of that 151 and 152 on Thursday. Box beef cutout values were up just a smidge. Choice cuts 257.10, up a penny, 100, and selects 231.74, up 39 cents. Your slaughter running at a very aggressive pace, 515,000 up through Thursday. Probably won't have a big Saturday, but likely going to be bigger total weekly slaughter than we had last week. But that 515,000 is 5,000 more than last week at this point, and 27,000 more than the same week a year ago. The actual slaughter come in for the week ending November the 5th, have average dressed steer carcass weights at 925 pounds, still fairly heavy. But something that's interesting on that actual slaughter information, heifers and beef cows, beef cattle, added up to 45.1% of your slaughter for the week ending November the 5th. And then you throw in your dairy cows, that's 54.1% of your slaughter, well ahead of halfway point. And I've told you many times how we've just been going week after week after week for the last several months of killing more does than bucks. That is cutting our cow our total inventories, and so we're going to have a lot less calves coming, guys, and this is going to get progressively more bullish if we keep going. Your cow slaughter is already up over 400,000 head at this point compared to the same point a year ago. So we have really trimmed down on your cows. Talk about what else is going on. I'm here in Fallon, Nevada. Going to be working at Nevada Livestock Marketing on Friday, and then we're going to be selling the balance of the cattle on Saturday. It'll be well over 7,000 head of cattle coming out of Nevada Livestock Marketing in Fallon, Nevada. Going to be lots and lots of attractive strings of cattle similar to these cattle here that come out of Oregon, come down to sell. Archie Osborne's really nice calves. I mean, look at these good bastards here. They're calf weight, got a yearling look to them, just burning up with quality. I mean, you can say what you want about program cattle with all the bells and whistles, but how about just quality, condition, and health right there. But look at those cattle right there. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DV auction. Late in the day on Thursday, sitting at 174.45. That's up 60 cents compared to the end of the sales on Wednesday. That's gaining pretty good ground there late in the week. You talk about your big sales. How about winter livestock in Pratt, Kansas? 3,300 head there. $3 to $8 higher is what it looked like on your automated market report. Couldn't see the federal state market report at the time I put this report together. But a stick out sale in Pratt was 82 head of 720-pound feeder steers at 198, guys, well in the southern plains. Don't forget, Pratt's going to have a bred cow special sale on Monday if you're interested in getting in on some of those bred cows that are offered. Farmers and Ranchers Livestock in Salina, Kansas, 3,500 head on Thursday. Market sure looked $2 to $6 higher on the automated market report on the best tested weights. And you look at a stick out sale in Salina, Kansas, 66 steers weighed 813 at 183 and a quarter, and that's a good $8 better than what your index levels are sitting at. Talk about your Zoetis stick out sale of the day. It was Belle Fourche Livestock Market in Belle Fourche, South Dakota. About 5,500 head of cattle offered there. Look at this automated market report from Cattle Market Central. Your best tested weights including 1,544 head of 5-weight steer calves, average 558 with a weighted average price of $206.15. 1,385 head of 6-weight steer calves, average 642 with a weighted average price of $193.21 on all of them. And they are keeping heifers back in that part of the country, guys. You see there's not near as many of the girls selling as their brothers at this sale, and it's been that way here the last month or month and a half up in South Dakota. But 383 head of 4-weight heifer calves, average 457 with a weighted average price of $184.69. Those heifers have pretty well been sorted through, guys. So not seeing as many fancy heifers showing up at these sales, or people are starting to keep them back. 776 head of 5-weight heifer calves, average 551 in Belle Fourche with a weighted average price of $181.71. Several stick out deals from all around the country. How about Orland Livestock Commission Yard in Orland, California? 61 steer calves weighed 504 at $211.50. That'd be a stick out deal way out west, guys. How about Broken Bow, Nebraska? Broken Bow Livestock Market on some heifers there. 60 head, 592-pound heifers bring $201. Wow. How about Bluegrass Stockyard South, Stanford, Kentucky? They sell 120 head of 830-pound feeder steers at $174.95. But the best quote that I saw anywhere on Thursday, your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Mitchell Livestock Marketing in Mitchell, South Dakota. Don't forget the meet and greet that's going to happen here on Friday night at the Moose Lodge with Jared Herman there. Go by and enjoy some refreshments, some hors d'oeuvres, and some music, and meet him and his wife Patrice. They are the new owners of Mitchell Livestock Marketing. But on Thursday, they sold 60 head of 889-pound yearling heifers at $175.35. And that's your feeder flash for Friday.